Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today is a little bit of a different day than usual because I have to bring old Pennywise, my dually, in the shop and yank the transmission out of it and find out what happened. I was driving my boy to a social event last night and I shifted it into second gear and let the clutch out, and it started making all kinds of awful noises and stopped going anywhere. So as you can see, there's no remnants of groundskeeper in the shop. I got all that body work done and it's gone off to get wrapped. So you may also be able to see that I still have an extremely large mess from doing all the body work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get this place cleaned up the best I can, at least get the tools put away and get the floor to where I'm not laying in piles of Bondo dust or filler dust. And then I'm gonna get the old girl in here and we'll start pulling that transmission out. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to film the process of pulling it out and whatnot because I don't have a lift, so I'll try to get a camera underneath there with me somehow. But worst case, I'll do kind of play-by-play of what's going on and I'll show you guys what I find. So let me get cleaned up a little bit and then I'll get the truck in here and we'll get started. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you and say I did a great job cleaning up. I'm not even gonna lie to you and tell you I did a good job cleaning up. But I got all the tools put away, got all the stuff out of the way, and I shot back and swept up the dust on the floor the best I could so I wasn't laying in it. But I straightened up and was able to get Pennywise in the shop. I wasn't sure how well she was gonna fit with room to move around it, but it actually does a lot better than I thought. So got her in here. I don't want to show you guys what the transmission's doing because if it's not the clutch and it's something else that's fixable, I don't want to make it any worse to where it's not fixable. So basically, if I just barely ease the clutch out, it'll grab and go very slowly. If I give it any throttle, put it under any kind of load whatsoever, it makes awful grinding noises and whatnot. I'm thinking the pressure plate springs may have blew apart because, like I said, the clutch still kind of grabs, and usually if a clutch just goes out, you give it throttle, it just free revs and nothing's there. That's not the case. It still has some clutch, you just can't put it under any kind of load, any kind of throttle, anything like that. So I'm hoping the pressure plate came apart. I'm hoping I can yank this trans out. Kind of clean the flywheel up myself. It never seemed like it had any heat checks or warps in it. It always was real smooth. So I'm hoping I can just take some sandpaper or something and just clean it up a little bit, slap a new clutch and throw out bearing in it, and be good to go. That's my hope. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but I actually needed this truck to go and pick up another project. Today's Sunday, which I'm normally not working on Sunday, but I'm over here because I got to get my truck going again. And I was supposed to go tomorrow or Tuesday to go pick up another project and in this truck towing my trailer. So I'm thankful that my boy wanted to ride to his friend's house last night and that it gave out on me then, where I was able to limp it home at 5 miles an hour versus being into my 2-hour trip one way with the trailer behind me going to get this other project and having it let go there, because that would have ended up being a large tow bill. So enough of the blabbering, I need to get going. First thing I'm going to do is remove the shift boot, take the shifter out, and get that out of the way, and then I'll go underneath and pull the drive shaft out, take the tranny cross member out, and then I'm going to separate the transmission from the bell housing, get it out of the way, and then I'll go back and take the bell housing off. And since I have to take the trans out anyways, There's one of the 4 bolts where the transmission bolts to the bell housing is, I can't remember if there's a broken off bolt in there or if the threads are stripped out, but since I put this motor in this truck going on 2 years ago now, it might have been 2 years ago now, but it's only had 3 bolts holding the transmission to the bell housing. So while I got it all out and apart, I'm going to go ahead and fix that, which I know I should have fixed it a long time ago, but I only had the transmission loosen up one time, and I pulled the 3 bolts out and put Loctite on them and ran them back in and tightened them, and it's never given me another problem. But I want it to be right. While I got it out, I'm going to fix it. So I'm going to get the camera set up, start pulling this shifter out, and we need to get this trans on the floor. Alright, I got the shifter out, I got the high hump out. There's an electrical connection here that I unplugged and unhooked, and speedometer cable goes right here. I got it unhooked, so everything on top is pretty well done. I may not have had to pull the high hump out, but you don't have to drop the transmission down as low to go back with it if you do. So I took it out to make it easier on myself. So I left my memory card for my camera that fits on the tripod at home in the back of my computer. So all I got is this one, and I have to hold it. I don't have any way to mount it anywhere. And I'm gonna go underneath, pull the drive shaft, pull the tranny cross member, and get that trans out, and then I'll bring you guys back and show you what the carnage is. All right, I got it all apart. Transmission's out. On first inspection, I didn't see anything wrong with the clutch or the pressure plate. So I pulled the transmission out from underneath the truck to see if there's anything wrong with it, and I couldn't find anything. And I started looking around more, and I don't know, you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this, but down in here on the clutch, there's a piece of metal that goes through the center of these springs and rides on these pins right here. And this piece of metal is there, but it's broken half, and it doesn't come out the other side. All these pins are worn almost all the way through, and none of the other springs have the metal in them. So that clutch is toast. That's the problem that I was having. I called the parts store, they had one in stock, so we're gonna get this thrown back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it put back together, and I'll check in with you guys and let you know what's going on. Well, as you can see, old Pennywise isn't in the shop anymore. I got her all wrapped up, took her for a test drive, and doing pretty good. So happy to have that done. This isn't much of a video, so I'm going to continue it on to something else. I think I mentioned earlier that I was supposed to, today's Monday, I was supposed to go tomorrow, but now it turned out to be Wednesday to go pick up another project, and that's why I was in such a big hurry to get the truck done, because I need it to tow the trailer. So I'm going to continue this video going over to get that truck and introducing a new project. But like I said, truck's done, truck drives good. I did pilot bushing, clutch, pressure plate, throwout bearing. It got everything new, adjusted it all, and it's doing really good. So that's it for that. I got a shop to clean up, and then a couple days when I go to pick up that new project, I'll continue this video and show you what we're bringing home. All right, like I said, we're going to pick up another project. That's why I had to get Pennywise done in a hurry. And it's that day. Pennywise ready to go, trailer's hooked up, and we got about 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So update you guys along the way, and we'll see what this new project is. Here's the new truck. Got it loaded up on the trailer. I forgot to film while I was loading it, but I'll do a walk around on it and tell you guys what we got going on with it once I get back to the shop. But she's loaded up. I'm about to hit the road and head back. All right, well, we made it back to the shop. Trip went pretty good. About three and a half hours round trip, not including getting the truck and loading it up. But didn't have any problems with the clutch and PENNYWISE. It did great, but she did develop another oil leak, and if I put it under too much load, it was dripping all over the exhaust manifold and pouring smoke out. So I just kind of putzed it back here, but I'll fix it another day. So the truck we just went and picked up is a '83 GMC Sierra, and I know it's rough, but I more or less got it for trade, so very cheaply, and I have a plan for it. So it needs a little bit of stuff. It had a seat and seat belts and stuff like that in it when I went and picked it up, but I went and picked it up with my buddy, and I'm not gonna need a seat or seat belts and stuff where I'm going with it, so he took those. And but I'm just kind of blabbering, wasting time before I tell you guys what the plan for this actually is. But cab's in good shape, little bit of bubbling here, but nothing's all the way through. Rocker's solid. This door is not mounted right, that's why it's the way it is. The hinge bolts that go to the cab are just barely like one thread in there, but I can fix that. This fender's beat, but I have another one. So all right, I've wasted enough time. Let me pop the hood here. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I have P51, the 76 step side back over there. That's going to be my drag racing truck. And I've never really mentioned this on the channel, but my initial plans for P51, I have a 250 inline 6 block that's been all machined. I've got a forged crank for it. I've got H-beam rods. I've got a big cam. Got a 292 head that's been punched out to huge valves and ported and polished and everything else. And I was gonna slap a turbo on it and show people how fast an old inline 6 can go. But I've been wanting to build a truck to go do the burnout competition at Cletus and Cars. And of course it's gotta be a square body because that's what I do. And this truck came about, and I recently acquired a big block, so kind of leaning toward building a big block to put in the race truck now. And this truck just so happens to have a 250 inline 6. So with that being said, I just got done telling you that I have a big cam and a big head, this one and for the inline 6. But this truck is a perfect candidate to be a burnout truck. So I have a passenger door for it. I've got a better driver fender, and you don't need a bed to do burnouts. So it's a 83 short bed. I'm going to get rid of the brakes back here, lock up the rear end, take the bumper and everything off, and I'm gonna put just a simple roll cage, like a 4-point roll cage. Kicker's going out the back of the cab and down to the frame, and we're going to soup up this inline 6. It's gonna be a 250. I'm gonna try to get this running first. The guy that we got it from said it runs and it ran pretty strong, which these old inline sixes are hard to kill. And that's part of the reason I want to use one for a burnout truck, because you can like throw a rod and the damn thing will keep going. So I may or may not still have a carburetor that fits one of these. I had 2 or 3 of them, but I don't know if they made the trip from Texas. I'm gonna look and see if I do. If I do, I'll put it on here, see if I can't get it running. If I don't, I'll come across one to put on here, and I'll do a will it start video on this truck. Hope the sun's not blinding you guys. But so one way or another, we're gonna do a will it start video on this truck, and make sure the bottom end is somewhat solid. And if it seems pretty solid, it's gonna get the big head and the big cam and a lot of nitrous. I'm gonna put so much nitrous to this thing that the head might shoot through the hood of the truck, and that's okay. I might leave this hood on there, so if I do shoot the head through the hood, it damages the hood that's already damaged. But I'm gonna put a huge radiator in it, expansion tank, everything I can come up with and think of to make it stay cool, which these inline sixes don't run hot to begin with, so it should make it a little bit easier. But with an expansion tank, bypass lines, big fans, stuff like that, I shouldn't have any trouble keeping it cool. I'll probably put a big transmission cooler in it so we can keep the transmission cool. And other than that, nothing else really matters. I mean, I'm gonna make it look cool, but we'll go through that when we get to that point, because I haven't really decided how I'm gonna make it look cool. It's gonna be some sort of, I'm gonna paint it, and I don't know if I'm gonna put decals on it or if I'm gonna try to hand paint stuff on it, but it will say Harmon Garage all over it, and hopefully it will look cool. So, but that's it. This is the new truck. I haven't even given it a name yet, so if anybody's got an idea for a name, knowing kind of what I'm gonna do to it and what we're gonna use it for, put it down there in the comments. So yeah, that's about it. You got a name for it, let me know. We got the clutch all done over here in the old girl. We got a burnout truck, and luckily there's parts over there if I need them. And that's it. So thank y'all for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.